The American Music Awards, live tonight, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Tonight, Hurricane Michael is barreling toward the U.S. coast. The monster storm building strength and just a short time ago, upgraded to a major Category 3 hurricane. Winds already 120 miles per hour, set to slam into parts of Florida. Mandatory evacuations tonight, and the damaging winds will then race across several states after it makes landfall. The new track just in tonight, and my interview with the hurricane hunters flying right through it. What they've seen already and what concerns them most tonight. Also this evening, the surprise shakeup inside the Trump administration. U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, resigning. Why leave now, just weeks before the midterms? And late today, what the president said when asked if his daughter Ivanka will replace Haley, saying she would be incredible, adding, "I'm not sure there is anybody more competent in the world." Just in tonight, what ABC News has now learned after that deadly limousine crash. We will show you the inspection report from before the crash and what it might reveal about the brakes. The mystery outbreak affecting children, a rare polio-like illness. The list of states now growing, and what parents need to know. Gas prices just out tonight, hitting a 4-year high. What's behind it? And the magic moment, what Drew Brees is caught on mic saying to his children right after he made history. It's America Strong.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Florida's Gulf Coast.
And good evening from Panama City, Florida tonight, where they are preparing for a powerful and deadly hurricane already. Tonight it's now been upgraded to a Category 3, winds at 120 miles per hour. And the trained hurricane hunters flying through this, just telling me from the air tonight that this hurricane is traveling across the warm waters of the Gulf. You see those waters right behind me, and that this will likely get much stronger. To give you an idea of where we're standing tonight, we're on Panama City Beach, 300 miles of coastline under hurricane warnings tonight. Just a few people left here, and that's a good thing because this could potentially be the strongest hurricane here in more than a decade. You can see the skies are already gray and the surface picking up. The hurricane has been intensifying with very little to knock out any of its power before it gets here. You can see the eye forming much more clearly now as it spins over those warm waters. Mandatory evacuations underway tonight. And this hurricane, once it hits, will then bring destructive winds across several states. Florida, Alabama, and Georgia all have states of emergency tonight. This hurricane, as I mentioned, has already killed more than a dozen people on its way here. And tonight, Florida's governor is warning everyone here this storm can kill. ABC's Victor Oquendo also in Florida with dramatic pictures from one of the cruise ships out at sea.
Tonight, the ferocity of Hurricane Michael seen firsthand on the high seas, the awesome display of raw power captured in slow motion. Those outer bands lashing the Empress of the Seas cruise ship off the coast of Cuba as Michael roared by.
We battled 13 to 15 foot swells last night. There were heavy rains at point. There was lightning out in the distance.
We're told all passengers are safe tonight. Michael now taking aim at the Gulf Coast, the surf already churning near Key West. In Cedar Key, sirens announced mandatory evacuations. In the storm zone, shelves are emptying, supplies dwindling. First responders filling the tanks of their ambulances. Florida's governor calling the storm monstrous.
This storm is dangerous, and if you don't follow warnings from officials, this storm could kill you.
In Apalachicola, we met Ben Kugel getting his boat to safety.
Why so important to get it out of here?
I don't want it to sink. I just hauled it back to Georgia and rebuilt the thing. Spent 2 years on it.
The view from space, massive. Michael is now some 400 miles across. The storm already wreaking havoc in Central America. Heavy rains and mudslides in El Salvador, and a race to save the driver of this ambulance in Nicaragua. More than a dozen killed in the region. Back here in Florida, we found Les Stevenson boarding up his Tallahassee music supply store.
And what time do you guys think you'll be closing up shop for good?
As soon as we finish these boards.
He's taking this seriously. This is the first time he's had to do this in more than 30 years.
And Victor joined us live tonight from Tallahassee, Florida. And Victor, I know they're really concerned here about the storm surge, 300 miles of coastline under warnings tonight. But the winds are also a very real threat here.
That's right, David. Michael's winds now at 120 miles per hour and strengthening. We'll see that life-threatening, possible 12-foot storm surge in some places, but further inland, like here in Tallahassee, for example, it will bring dangerous and destructive winds. Trees will come down, power will get knocked out for days, maybe even weeks, as Michael rips through Florida and several other states. David?
Victor Kendo leading us off tonight. Victor, thank you. Chief Meteorologist Ginger Zee is also right here in the storm zone tonight. She has the newest track just in before we came on the air. And Ginger, I know you're going to take us through this hour by hour when this hits tomorrow.
Yeah, David, I'm actually seeing the tops of thunderstorms that help denote those outer bands. So Michael is here and less than 24 hours from landfall. The maps show you where it will likely make landfall. That's between here in Apalachicola and Panama City, somewhere in that region. It'll slice across Wednesday night into Thursday, Georgia. Then Thursday, South Carolina and North Carolina out by Friday. In its wake, it will have major impacts, even for places like Raleigh with flash flood watches in place, Biloxi to Tampa. But the heart of the impact will be wind and storm surge, as you mentioned. So you can see some of the gusts. We stopped the clock at 2 p.m. 80-mile-per-hour gusts here in Apalachicola, 62 for Panama City. Move it to 5 o'clock, it only intensifies. Then it's 90-mile-per-hour gusts for both cities. 41 there in Tallahassee. You saw it peak to 70. Even Savannah Thursday morning at 7 a.m., 44 miles per hour. Storm surge, a huge issue, up to 13 feet. And David, as I was driving here, I was reminded how vulnerable a lot of the homes are that are right on the water. This part of Florida, the Panhandle, has only seen a 125-mile-per-hour landfall twice in recorded history. This would make the third, David.
Yeah, it's going to be a destructive 24 hours ahead. Ginger, our thanks to you. And as you heard Ginger say there, this hurricane still has several hours over these warm waters. That is very concerning. I spoke with the hurricane hunters right up in the air, flying right past the hurricane, measuring the storm just a short time ago. Flight Director Richard Henning right here tonight. Richard, thanks for joining us. I know you've been flying up, observing this hurricane from above, and tell us what you've noticed so far.
Well, unfortunately, David, one of the things that we are noticing is that the environment around the storm is indeed becoming more conducive for intensification. We were hoping that would not be the case, but that's bad news for the folks who live on the Florida Panhandle. The storm is continuing to strengthen with the very warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico. I'm afraid that the forecast of continued intensification is really likely to occur.
As you watch this hurricane intensify from where you're at, Richard, what will you say to folks back here on the coastline who are preparing for this hurricane?
I would really beg those people to listen to what emergency management folks are telling them. If they live in a storm surge prone area, this is the time to leave, because this is not a storm to try to ride out. We're talking about a very, very large storm surge. And additionally, there's going to be a lot of damage inland probably from this storm because of the very high winds.
NOAA Flight Director Richard Henning with us tonight. Our thanks to Richard and his team. And we also want to thank our Biloxi station, WLOX, flying with those hurricane hunters today. We're going to stay on this hurricane over the next 24 hours, but we are going to move on to the other major story we're covering tonight, that unexpected departure in the Trump administration. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley resigning. Why announce she's leaving just weeks before the midterms? And what she said today about the election in 2020. Also late today, how the president answered when he was asked if his daughter Ivanka is a potential replacement. And Ivanka Trump tonight now weighing in too. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega tonight.
She's a one-time critic of the president's who went on to become one of the few women in his cabinet, a hawk who championed America first.
For those that don't have our back, we're taking names.
But today, just 4 weeks before the midterms, Nikki Haley announced her surprise resignation. President Trump called the cameras into the Oval Office and made a show of it.
I thought this would be an appropriate way of doing it, because when you write it out on a piece of paper that, you know, Ambassador Haley will be leaving, and you say nice things, people say, well, what's going on?
The announcement reportedly caught even some top administration officials off guard, though the president says Haley actually broke the news to him 6 months ago. From Haley herself, no concrete explanation on why she's leaving.
No, there's no personal reasons. I think that it's just very important for government officials to understand when it's time to step aside.
And even before reporters could ask, she made a point of saying this.
For all of you that are going to ask about 2020, no, I'm not running for 2020. I can promise you what I'll be doing is campaigning for this one.
Her goodbye singling out two people, both right there in the room.
I can't say enough good things about Jared and Ivanka. Jared is such a hidden genius that no one understands. And Ivanka's been just a great friend.
And tonight, in the Washington buzz, among the names being floated as a possible Haley replacement, Ivanka Trump.
How good would Ivanka be? The people that know that Ivanka would be dynamite. But, I'd then be accused of nepotism, if you can believe it, right? Yes.
Is it a serious consideration, though? Would she be a good fit for that job?
I think Ivanka would be incredible. That doesn't mean I'd pick her because you'd be accused of nepotism. Even though I'm not sure there's anybody more confident in the world, but that's okay.
So let's get to Cecilia Vega with us live tonight from the White House. And Cecilia, Ivanka Trump appearing to take herself out of the running just before we came on the air tonight.
On Twitter, David, she says the president will nominate a formidable replacement, but, quote, that replacement will not be me. Haley stays on the job through the end of the year, and the president just told reporters, David, he's got a list of 5 names he's considering.
All right, Cecilia Vega live at the White House tonight. Cecilia, thank you. The Supreme Court's newest Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh heard his first cases today. It came after last night's ceremonial swearing in at the White House, where the president apologized to Justice Kavanaugh on behalf of the nation for what the president called the painful nomination process, earlier calling it a Democratic hoax. Today, Justice Kavanaugh hearing oral arguments in 2 cases, and he engaged quickly, asking more than a half-dozen questions. We have new reporting here tonight after that horrific limousine crash in upstate New York that killed 20. We knew the limo had failed an inspection just last month, but tonight ABC News obtaining part of the inspection report, revealing at least in part why the limo failed the inspection. Here's ABC's David Curley with that report.
A line of hearses carrying some of the 20 victims to a funeral home after the extended limo ran a stop sign, slamming into an embankment at high speed. Those emergency workers used the jaws of life to cut open the limo.
We were pulling bodies out. They were still alive. And we kept going.
Government inspectors found 22 violations in the company's 4 vehicles in the past 2 years. This particular limo had 6 violations just a month ago, a brake system monitor that wasn't working. The governor saying the limo should not have been on the road. The upstate New York company claiming repairs had been made.
Prestige had been working with the state to make sure that the vehicles were roadworthy.
Tonight, New York State pushing back, saying an out-of-service sticker like this should have been on the limo. The driver of the 17-year-old stretched SUV, also killed, didn't have the proper license to carry that many passengers. Families saying that he was concerned.
The wife told me that he had complained to her regarding the condition of some of the vehicles.
4 sisters and families celebrating a birthday killed in one accident brought 2,500 members of the community together to remember what they and one family lost in this horrific accident.
And David Curley joins us tonight from the crash scene. And David, your story mentioned family members of the limo driver claiming he was worried about the company's vehicles. But there was also some reporting that some of the victims in the car texted concerns before the accident.
A family saying that they got texts that they were concerned about the vehicle, one saying that the engine was so loud it was making them deaf. And tonight, David, still no indication from investigators why that limo crossed this state road at such a high rate of speed and slammed into that embankment. David?
Still so many questions. All right, David Curley on this again tonight. David, thank you. And overseas tonight, and to a stunning image, a Saudi journalist, a U.S. resident who writes for the Washington Post. He's been critical of his home country. He was seen entering the consulate in Istanbul, and reportedly, he never came out, even as his fiancée waited outside for hours. Here's ABC senior foreign correspondent Ian Pannell tonight.
Tonight, that surveillance image revealing the last time the Washington Post journalist was seen amid growing fears about his fate. The image showing Jamal Khashoggi as he walked into the Saudi consulate in Turkey. But according to his fiancée waiting outside, he never came out. Turkish officials fear he was killed. The White House criticised for not acting sooner.
Mr. President, have you spoken to the Saudis about the missing Washington Post columnist?
I have not. No, I haven't. But I will be at some point.
Jamal Khashoggi is a US resident but a Saudi citizen. Protesters gathering outside the embassy, which opened its doors to try to prove Khashoggi isn't there, but also saying some cameras at the back weren't working. And as a critic of the Saudi Crown Prince, there are fears he could have been abducted or worse.
David, the Saudis calling the claims they killed the Post journalist outrageous.